Greetings, everyone. Welcome back to the another episode of Reclaiming Happiness with me, Sandeep Paudel. I have a very special guest joining all the way from India. We have Mr. Manikandan sir in our podcast. Thank you so much for accepting my humble invitation, sir, and thank you so much for joining with us today.
Thank you. Thank you, Sandeep, for inviting me into this particular topic of your podcast. The title itself interested me, Reclaim Happiness. So when you had requested, I had no other way but to be here with you and share things for your audience. So let's get started.
Thank you. So, my for the viewers, the little story about the reclaiming happiness is a personal story with me. When I was back in New York City, 15, 16 years back, stayed there for 12 years. Um, and then when I returned back to Nepal, in terms of how I feel, the well-being wise, I felt really great, really good. And there are so many factors that contributed to my well-being. And that particular journey, I kind of wanted to start sharing with people with an honest expectation of hopefully could even be of some form of inspiration or some form of help to some of some of the viewers out there who may or may not be on their best uh, emotional well-being state. So that was my journey, and I did quite a few episodes, and there was a little break because of my professional journey in cybersecurity arena, and I'm so happy to continue back with this podcast, debuting, uh, starting with Manikandan sir uh, again. Sir, would you mind providing us, our viewers, a little bit of background, your basic background about what you like and where you're from? Again, you're from India, but which part, and maybe touch a little bit about your childhood and so on and forth.
Sure, sure. Definitely, Sandeep. So thank you. Thank you for inviting me again to this podcast. A little bit about me. Yes, I come from India, the southern part of India, towards down the below lower level, which is the southern part of India, where places like Tamil Nadu, Kerala, all these places are. So I come from there. I did my schooling, education, and basically I come from a very humble, middle class, average family. My dad being a government servant and mom a homemaker. So that's how my humble beginnings was. And I finished my studies, finished the formal education, college, and then I got onto a job. Worked in different companies, different places in India, US, UK, all the way. And in 2020 or sometime back in 2020, I got a realization, Sandeep, that you know what, I can do something more meaningful in life. I can do something more for others. What am I just doing by just doing a job? I know at the end of the day it makes me money, but like you rightly said, you have your own journey of being in the UK or being in New York City, and then you realizing that something I could do something more to be fulfilled about in life. And this similar kind of realization came to me, and then luckily I found my mentor. I got to understand various things. I understood how we can help others in various ways, and that's where my journey began. And fast forward today, I help youngsters in terms of their physical, emotional, and spiritual well-being. I help them through my coaching, through my programs, and various other things that I do. In addition to all of these things, I am also an Amazon best-selling author. My book is widely reviewed. People have get good reviews about it, and also I'm an international keynote speaker. I've spoken at different venues, been sharing stages with a lot of great people. And yes, and that's a pretty much a small thing of what I've done so far. But I have a long way to go, a lot of things to cover, a lot of way that I need to do things to change lives in these youngsters and help them reclaim their happiness as well. So that's
Awesome.
one of the areas that I focus on.
I really want to talk about your book, Emotional Well-Being. But before we dive into that arena, is there a particular um experience or particular incident that happened to you that was a catalyst on you devoting most of your time, or devoting a lot of your time for a better noble cause of helping people? Do you remember, is there a particular like changing, yeah, that moment? Is there anything that you can, yep, share with us?
Definitely, definitely, Sandeep. And you know what? you asked a very, very valid question, or a very right question. Because, sometimes you start something with a reason that, hey, I went through this pain. I don't want somebody else to go through this pain. That's very big purpose that we find in life. If you really want to serve somebody. And yes, there is, or there was an incident in the past that triggered me, or that shaped me up in a better way. I would say what it is like today, most of the youngsters, when I was also a youngster several years back, I used to like somebody. We were in good terms. Things went fine. A girl whom we had proposed, we went along together for some time and things were going fine. But you know what? At a certain point of time, there came a decision that we decided to part ways. And she had to move on and I had to move on. But after being in that relationship, when the first time when I experienced something really strong and powerful, a relationship with somebody connected, and then when you part ways, you are like literally broken. Your heart is broken. You are like crumbled. You don't know what to do. You don't see any meaning in life. And I still remember those days when I was like, what am I doing in life? I mean, what am I living for? What is the purpose of me being alive? It's better that I die. Those kind of thoughts went through me. And then I was in that for several months, I would say, or maybe a year or so, or I don't exactly remember. But then eventually, with time, because of whatever good I've done in the past or whatever my parents have done, that I started to realize that, my life has a better meaning, better purpose. This is not just the thing. I need to pick up myself. When there was nobody to helping hand, because I cannot call up friends and start crying myself. I used to cry within myself, but how can I call up somebody? What? This is when this girl has left me. What do I do? And it looks so silly. Then I cannot call up my parents and tell, and this, what? Hey, there's a girl, she left me, and then I don't know what to do. And it sounds so silly. They'll be like, what are you talking? Or, I mean, whatever be the reason. So there was nobody around me whom I could share things. There was nobody around me at that point whom I could vent out my feelings. I was all alone. It was a very dark moment for me in life, a dark phase in my life. And then when I came out of that eventually over years through doing different things, through different practices, through understanding things, through connecting with people, through spiritual practices, through well-being practices, I realized that, man, okay, now I am good. But then what about those people? These days I see youngsters or people going through small, small things, and I keep hearing it in the news or in the papers. They're ending up the life. They see the no meaning in life. They see, like, the suicide rates among young children are getting more and more every day. And that worries me. I'm like, no, 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 this should not happen. So when I went through, I somehow had my own willpower or whatever it is, my good luck, I came, but not with these people. So it's my obligation or a duty as a human being to serve or help other youngsters or other people whenever they are in pain so that they can lead a better life. And that's exactly what I do today. That's the reason behind what I do. And in fact, my book also is also on the similar lines. You told me, right, about the book. So I'll talk about it when we talk about it. But that's exactly on the similar lines of how can you manage yourself better and see the better perspective of life. That's what I do in short, Sandeep. This is my story.
Thank you so much for sharing your little personal account. You have to go into the past and remember exactly how you felt and share this account with us. For some of the viewers who might be, we might be in that state. Let's suppose. What advice would you give right off the bat? I'm sure there are a lot of those sort of advices in the book, but what advice would you give to your younger self, and also for guys or girls who might be in the heartbroken state or any other helpless state, and they are even contemplating if living life is worthy enough? What advice would this Mr. Kandan would give to them?
I don't want to give a big, long, lengthy advice or suggestion or something. I think that's too big for me. I would just say in 3 words. That's all. If they understand it at a pretty young age, an earlier age, follow it, imbibe it, practice it, life is going to be very colorful. Those 3 words are right from as early as possible. Maybe, I don't know, even as a child or maybe as you grow up. If you practice these 3 things, you are done. And that word is be emotionally fit. And that's what exactly my book title is also about. Be emotionally fit. And that's
Wow,
the title of my
I really want to read your book. I saw your book in social medias, so on and forth, and I'm sure there would be a way. This book is in Amazon, though, right? Is
This
it?
book is in Amazon. It's there in
Okay.
Amazon.
So
Yeah.
the
It
viewers,
talks about,
and to clarify this, viewers, there's no intent of publicizing this book. This is not what this podcast is all about. However, it got intertwined, and it's really important that we talk about happiness. And this amazing gentleman has written a book dedicated his life living his corporate jobs and so on and forth. And I think it is it could be a blessing for some of the guys who are struggling, and it could be good for, even though if we are not struggling, we could definitely read a book, know that for ourselves, and we could be a
family,
guide.
come close.
Yes,
Yes,
for our
absolutely.
family, for our brothers, sisters, or even for us, right? So that's amazing. Okay, can you I'm really excited because I want to know. So I know it's going to be hard for you to summarize be emotionally fit in few sentences, but can you try to summarize what be emotionally fit means, or how to be emotionally fit? I think I'm asking a hard question. I am asking you to summarize your whole book, but
No,
if it's
it isn't
possible,
hard.
okay.
Yeah, it isn't hard actually, Sandeep. Because the entire book itself, I've made it so simple that people can understand. Though the title is Be Emotionally Fit, inside I talk about three practices, three processes, and three principles which anybody can follow and be emotionally fit. This whole book is action based. What, how, and why should you do it? So it's very easy. So in short, there are some practices, there are some processes, there are some principles. If we understand, and if we follow every day in our life, we can be emotionally fit. Let me give you the simple example. For example, if somebody who is very lean or thin wants to build muscles, wants to grow good abs, wants to be physically fit, is it possible that one day they go to the gym, they start lifting 100 kgs and they become physically fit? No.
No.
It starts with basic. They have to spend a good time at gym. Several years they have to work on things, and then they become physically fit. Whatever, bills, abs, whatever. They start with maybe 2 kgs of dumbbells and then maybe 5 kgs or whatever, then go for 100 kgs, whatever it is. That's how it grows. And same is with emotional fitness also. You cannot expect that today you eat a tablet, you have a tablet, and tomorrow you're emotionally fit. No, it's through years of consistent practice, it's through years of understanding few things in life, like something like there are a lot of principles that we have to imbibe in ourselves, and naturally we become emotionally fit. Like today, if you ask me, there are ups and downs that happen in my life like everyone's else life, but then I'm like, okay, I don't stick on it for long, because somewhere or other I've built that muscle within me which tells me like, okay, fine, so what, nothing is permanent, it's okay, let's move on. And that comes again, ties back to our own Vipassana, where we have this amazing. In this book, one of the practices that I talk about is Vipassana. That's one more
Uh,
practice, which I truly believe in. Understand that nothing is permanent. So when you know nothing is permanent, what are you sad about?
why should you
What are
worry
you doing?
about?
Why should you worry about? Let's move on. Life is
Sure.
full of wonders and experiences and adventures. So in short, this is all the thing that I've explained in the book through a story. The book is not a theoretical book. Since you asked about it, Crispit, it's a story of two people, two friends starting their journey in childhood, going to the school together, and then so many things happen in their life. They grow up, they finish their studies, they go for a job, they go in different ways, then they meet back at a point when their life shows them a real different meaning, and then how they grow and how they get married, they have their children. So it's a complete journey through which I've explained in this book. It's a story book through which all these concepts are explained in different ways.
That's amazing. Also, I want to ask this: how do you deal now to your younger self? Because I find it hard sometimes. I try to be. I consider myself relatively positive guy, even though go with Sandeep Neutron. I chose Neutron because I thought I'm not positive, I'm not negative, I'm the middle. I'm in the middle path. Without that was before I was introduced to Vipassana. I don't know. That's a coincidence. But what I find difficult sometimes is to maintain that positive perspective when you live your life, when you have to hustle, when you have to meet people and society, and there are things that you don't like, and there are, of course, there are people who have chosen shorter path and sometimes devilish path, right? They want to make more money, and there's a greed, and it bothers. I was listening to that one phrase from Sadhguru. He said, if I was not spiritual, I would have been a really, really angry man. That's what he said. And I kind of uh, connected that phrase with me. I want to know how you deal with injustices, how we deal with day to day setbacks that any person, go through. And of course, I think the setbacks, the chaos in a negative way has a deeper impact on a growing mind. Like when child is, you know, um, exposed with those kind of evilish part of the society, I think it changes their mind drastically. But as an adult, how you deal with, and what's your recommendation on the ways to deal with?
Sure, sure, Sandeep. Simple. My recommendation, I would say, is you'll have to build it. So this being strong in times of difficulty, everybody has their own difficult times. You can never compare your life with someone else, right? Everybody has their own challenges. Everybody has their own ups and downs and goods and bads and whatever things happening in their life. The best thing that you can do is be aware and manage the particular thing. And more than managing, a very simple logic, which eventually, again, it's through practice. Nothing comes overnight. This cannot happen overnight. What I do, I start accepting things. That itself solves a lot of problems. Acceptance. Okay. Today I wanted to go somewhere. I plan everything. I'm ready, for example, and then suddenly there's a rain and everything got cancelled. Okay, fine. It's raining. What can we do? It's okay, fine. It's okay. Rather than fighting for it. Man, I had to go there. Man, shit, the rain had to come today only. What the hell is this? Why did this plan happen? We played everything. We did this. What's the point? You are making yourself miserable. So it's better that accept. So that's one key thing which I always try to follow in whatever I do. And when things work in my favor, when things don't work in my favor, I'm open to that. I'm like open to possibilities. And I try my best to imbibe that and to my near and dear ones also. I tell the same thing. Let's say you plan everything. Planning you can do. But eventually, if it does not work out, you're setting up expectations. Yeah, this will work, that I'll do. Yes, true. But we are all human beings, isn't it? What is the guarantee of our life? When there is no guarantee for our life, when there is nothing that you can say that tomorrow it will work, tomorrow there's no guarantee that you and me will wake up in the morning. We are expecting that we'll wake up and there is life. What if not?
Sure.
So just
Do you
accept.
do you recommend, like, in terms of natural order? I could see the value the acceptance brings about, right? And which I also realized it way later in my life. I think my wife told me, why are you really angry with the nature? It's it's raining, and or maybe something doesn't work out the way I want, and that was because of nature. And nowadays I could see, okay, nature wise I can deal with it. What about a human being? If there's someone that's obviously clearly cheating you, doing the things that he or she is not supposed to do, what would be your best course of action? I know it's a hard thing, but acceptance and take action, or maybe ignore it and take a better path or something else.
Sure. So here's what, if I definitely encounter somebody, I rarely encounter people like that. But if I encounter somebody who is like truly negative, who is trying to harm others or trying to harm me in some way, I try to deal with it, meaning in a way I try to speak out and understand where things are going wrong. But you know what? Again, I believe in this path of karma. What you do, you get back. So there is a point that you can do certain things for certain things, and for certain things you cannot do anything. Let's say somebody is truly getting negative or just abusing you, or maybe taking wrong actions against you or something for which you don't even know for what it's happening. Trust me, if we believe in that power of universe, God, or what do you call it, karma, or whatever we call it, there's a higher almighty power beyond what you and me can think. That will take care of it. That power definitely takes care of it. And like, I have a lot of people who tell me, you know what, I meet such people who are very negative. Oh, my family members are not good. They think about me bad, that, this, and all. But I hardly encounter people like that in my life, because for me, it is like, Even if I encounter, I don't know, I don't get that vibe. I don't get that vibration saying this person is negative. I'm like, okay, maybe he's going through a bad day. This is what my reaction tends out to be. Oh, like somebody's talking something bad or abusing. Like like normally, I'm from India, and India is a crowded place. I'll tell you a classic example. Like when you go on the streets, there's very little narrow space, like cities like Bangalore or Mumbai, very little space, and a lot of vehicles, they go by. And sometimes there is a hit, there is a clash, there is a, and then there's an argument happening on the road or something like that. The first, when I see them, initially it used to be like fun. Why are they fighting? But now I like, maybe it's a bad day for him. Then what? Because you cannot do anything. What has damaged is a like when there's a car hit or something, you're done something. It's a physical product that has got damaged. But what is getting more damaged is because of this argument and fight and the things that you're letting out, you are harming yourself more
Sure.
than what has already been damaged. So that awareness again comes back to the same thing. Just becoming aware of it, you're like, okay, even my car or my vehicle was crashed at one point, and I'm like, for a minute, I'm like, okay, fine. What can we do? We'll repair it. Keep going.
Sure. Awesome. I think it's being aware, and you just change the how you see the world completely changes when you are aware, right? the the same situation can be perceived as something really really nasty for someone, but you perceive it as, okay, what can you do? And again, if someone is doing something bad to you, the person is doing it, so it has nothing to do with you. And
I think
right,
exactly.
yes,
And you were talking earlier about Sadhguru. I just want to add one line over there. You're talking about Sadhguru, right? Sadhguru's famous quotes about spirituality and anger and all. So I remember watching one of Sadhguru's interview. Okay. When one of the person asks, right, the question and answer that he gives, somebody asks him, Sadhguru, don't you get angry? Or when do you get angry? Because you can see, right, he's always smiling, he's jolly, and he's good going and all. So they asked him, Sadhguru, don't you get angry? He laughed for a minute. And you know what he replied? He says, that power I have not given to anybody. That's with me.
nice,
I have
that's
not
awesome.
given that power to anybody to make me angry. I decide when should I get angry or not. It's in me. I have the control. That control I have not given to anybody else. And I was like, wow, so amazing.
That's
He
awesome.
says, nobody
Yeah,
has the power to make me angry. I decide when I should be happy So I decide to be happy always.
true.
That,
Because yeah, I wanted to ask this because with the practices that I've been continuing, I see it taking, giving me a lot of benefits in real life, you know. And I also agree with what you just said. I don't get across those nasty people. I don't remember getting, bumping into those nasty people that many times. And I feel the same way. The frequencies of me having such experiences are really, really low nowadays. I don't know why. It's just me practicing more awareness and more kindness and trying to change myself is this vibration. And again, that's another talk. But those questions, uh, those questions, I think it arises in people's mind, and it definitely is to arise in my mind. I think that our human tendency of survival, and we want to protect ourselves, and the, we get scared of what if somebody rips us off, right? What if somebody takes advantage of us? And I think some of those thoughts are completely baseless, and there's no ending of the thoughts. It can continue in loops and loops and loops.
it's all here.
It's all here. There's no real tiger. The tiger, we make the tiger on our brains. Um, since we're talking of getting a bit into spirituality, I also want to talk a little bit about. I know you like yoga. You practice yoga. I know a little bit. Can you talk about your journey in yoga and meditation? How did you encounter them, and what are the benefits you have, and what's the routine like in terms of practice?
Sure, sure. Um, in terms of yoga, definitely, right from several years back, I've heard or I've seen people doing yoga and meditation and all. There was a problem with me for several years. Like, let's talk about meditation. I never used to know ki, I know meditation is like sitting, closing your eyes and doing, but do what? Mind starts to wander. Do what? And that was never clear to me unless I was blessed to get introduced to this practice called Vipassana. That was the first time I understood what you need to do closing your eyes. What do you need to observe? What do you need to do? And when I first attended my Vipassana somewhere in 2016, 2017 for the first time, uh, those 10 days changed my complete system on a whole. My belief systems, my questions that I had, which I never got answer for, my thought process, my feelings, my way of learning how to do it, everything got changed. And I was like mind blown after the 10 days. I was like, wow, as somebody who could not close your eyes and sit for 5 minutes now can sit for even 1 hour, 2 hours and know what to do. So that was me. So Vipassana contributed a big way for me in terms of meditation, I would say. And if you touch upon yoga, definitely. Yoga is something which I knew about, but I was doing it hardly here and there, here and there. But then slowly I got a yoga instructor. And today, as we speak, I learn from him. I have daily yoga, morning yoga sessions. I practice it diligently. And that gives me a better. I'm not a gym guy. Like many people say, if you want to go for fitness, go to gym. And I was always being away from gym. I'm not that kind of, I want to make body, I want to build my muscles and abs and all those things, but I want to be fit. So the best way I felt being fit was also yoga. So I walk, I used to do that even now, but then yoga I felt as a good option and I choose yoga. And I completely, yoga is not just for the body, yoga is also for your mind. So it helps me a lot in terms of yoga and meditation. Yep, that's pretty much.
Nice, nice. And I I wanted to ask you. I think these questions could be related to some of the things we discussed early about what was a changing point. But I think that was when I was meditating once. Those kind of thoughts were arriving on my mind, like how I could really understand people. I think is through the experiences they have gone through. I think it's that way we could somehow relate. And I want to uh, give this privilege to our viewers too, and know a little more about our Manikandan sir here. Can you share a little bit, a moment, if you remember, um, a moment where you found yourself really scared and maybe sad? It could be two different questions, but still you can come up with, can you remember a time, maybe it could be a childhood, and can you share a little story, why made you that, and what was the circumstances like when you were dealing with those kind of emotions?
Hmm. Sad, scared. Yes, I mean, as you grow up, there were definitely some instances. I remember as a child, I don't know. I remember instance when my dad was not along with us, along with me, at home, uh, going alone to school and coming back. Maybe those times were a little sad for me as a child. But then eventually I understood because that's part of his work. He cannot be in one place. He has to go to different places, travel around and things like that. But then I accepted it. But then really low moment for me or a dark phase, I would say, is that incident which I said earlier.
Yes,
That
yes, I thought that
really
covered
hit me.
my question. Yes. So
Yeah, that really
let's.
hit me in all terms, in terms of going to dark moments, to feeling scared, and then seeing no light in life, to coming back again to life, to seeing the better side of life, to see the positivity in all that happened. So it was all going like this, and I have to say, then it went for a ding, then I get, and then now it's all up, 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 up all the way.
So what would you say is, if you have to remember a happy moment, and if you have to kind of see it in front of you, so who is around you, who was around you, what's the circumstances like, the environment? Tell me a little bit about one of your happy moments that happened recently, or maybe even a few years back.
Happy moment, this moment. The moment right now you and me are talking, this is the happy moment. In short, I enjoy every moment now. There's no specific moment when I have to be happy. Each and every moment is for me happy. You would wonder how, Sandeep. So every day in the morning, it's become natural for me. Every day morning when I wake up from the bed itself, I'm like happy. I'm like, wow, wow, I have got another day. I mean, like today I can do so many things. Man, I'm alive. I'm alive today. I can do so many things. I can do this. I can do this. I can talk to that person. I can do this work, that work. So by naturally now I'm like, every moment is like happy for me. When you called me and you said, you know what, when you said, can you come for this interview? I'm like, wow, I'm being called. Sandeep, I'm going to go for a podcast. I'm happy. So every moment I'm like happy, Sandeep, I would say. There is no specific moment that I can say, you know what, this moment gives me happiness, this moment makes me sad. No, by default, it is like be happy. Like when you say reclaim happiness, right? I understand where you come from. You're the title of your podcast. When you say reclaim happiness, these days, a lot of people go down, they have tough phases in life, they become sad, and they have to reclaim their happiness because I'm sure you know it. By default, we human beings are designed to be happy. By default, nature is to be happy. Because when we are happy, we are in the best of the emotions. We are always blissed. We are joyful. We are, we do good things. Our creativity opens up. All this opens up when we are happy. But for whatever reasons, due to whatever happening around us, we become sad, we feel low, we get angry, we get all those kind of tough emotions. But then for them, it's definitely important to reclaim the happiness, like as your title of your podcast says. But can you say stay happy most of your time? That's very important. And that's what I try to practice. Stay happy as much as possible. So there's no one moment. I try to be happy as much as possible. Every
Sure.
moment.
Yes. The it had been a drastic change in how I think and how I used to think, and I'm sure the the perception of the life and experiences, they're gonna get better, or I'm gonna learn. I'll say learn more as I grow older. But back in the days, maybe in my 20s, what when I reflect back, I haven't shared with a lot of people, but I'm sharing this in podcast with you, is I saw a tendency of running away from discomfort. That's the tendency I think I saw in myself. Coming from a small town in Nepal, I chased lights, bigger towns like Kathmandu, and then even bigger like cities, their lights never sleeps. And I thought pleasure was synonymous with happiness, which was actually opposite now that I find, So it was more about seeking pleasure and running away from those so-called discomfort or bad feelings, instead of being in the present, instead of tackling them then and there by being present and by being aware. That's what I think I should have done. And those kind of understanding has slowly seeped in my being. and and I do
With age,
agree. Yes.
everything changes, Sandeep. With age, with time, with everything, no? Life changes. The way in which we see life absolutely changes. And with experience, you understand a lot of things about life. Life is a lesson.
Yes, and there I can connect with you on what you just said. The present moment is the happy moments, and you don't need to really look for something else in the future, distant future. So that's it. Let me ask you what you thought about Nepal. You were in Nepal too, right? For a few days, you said you were
Yes.
for a 10 days retreat. And how long did you stay in Nepal?
Yeah, the last time I came Nepal was yes for the 10 days retreat of Vipassana, where I got to experience, and then I was there for one more week, where I was attending a conference in Nepal, where I was a keynote speaker. I had been there, and then I visited a little bit of Nepal, and I came back. But I'm looking forward. I have not seen the entire Nepal places where you come from, Pokhara, and other
Po-
places I am still due in my list. I have yet to visit.
Yeah, you should definitely visit Pokhara, and of course there are a lot of other places in Nepal that I'm sure you're gonna like it. But what you like about Nepal, I think some of the viewers might be curious. What was the thing that really attracted you about the country?
Nature,
Yeah,
nature.
right. Yeah.
And for Nepal and for nature. The beautiful nature attracted me. The hills, the valleys, the greenery. I still remember that location from where we used to meditate in Vipassana on the top of the hills, surrounded by clouds and overlooking the entire Kathmandu. Man, so beautiful, so blissful when you wake up in the morning and you see such a place. Amazing. I like the nature of
I
Nepal.
like your phrase. I'm going to remember your phrase, Yan for Nepal and Yan for nature. Thank you. I think we are towards the end of the podcast. I I also want to know your opinion on, since you were in IT for a long, long time, and I recently ventured into the world of IT. AI is in the infancy phase, but already, I think one of the most talked about things in the world right now. How you see AI playing role, in general, and also the role to be emotionally fit in future.
Sure, sure. So AI or robots or whatever you develop can do your work, can do things for you, can do so many things which you cannot think of and do of. But one thing it cannot have is have a human emotion. So human emotions cannot be replaced. So that I don't think a machine can do, have a human emotion. That's all it can do. It can do a work faster than you. It can think more, very daunting task for you, but it cannot have an emotion that a human being has. And that's why human beings are human beings.
So we don't really need to be freaking out that AI is going to replace humans. I think we can use it to our advantage and use it as a tool, right?
AI might replace your job, do the work, do it much more faster, efficient. Everything is great. But where will that emotion come from? When we go to an employee, we have an attachment. When we have a human being, we feel bonded, we feel connected, love. Where will all these emotions come from for a human, for a machine? So I don't think, as long as it cannot generate human emotions, we are good. We still have
Completely.
place on earth.
Awesome. I really wanted to talk more with you, but I think we need to end our episode today. Is there something that you wanted to share that I missed? There's some words that you wanna say to our viewers or anyone, or anything that's on your mind?
Yeah. Nothing, Sandeep. I think you've done a good job. I mean, I could share most of my things, whatever thoughts I wanted to share with you, the ideas which I came up with to share with your audience. I think I could share. Everything went good. Just as a final message, again, my line remains the same. Always in life, try to be emotionally fit, because it's just not about, when we say fitness, people just talk about physical fitness. Emotional fitness is also important. So try to be emotionally fit, lead a fulfilled life, as my book
And
says. Always lead a
would you mind, again, viewers? This is not a marketing for the book. This was never intended, but I really think we want to see the book, and it could be of help for tremendous help for a lot of people, and also for me. Can you show me the book that if you have with you, and
Sure.
kind
I have
of show the
the
world?
book. You go to Amazon, and if you search "Be Emotionally
Can
Fit,"
can you just keep it there? Move it. Okay, good. Okay, I'm gonna put
I'll,
a link on the
I'll share the
for.
link with you.
Okay, I'm gonna say share a link for anyone who's interested, and anyone who wanna hear more hear more about the book. And what's the best way to reach you, for if anyone is wondering if they wanna send you a message or anything? Can they follow you on Facebook?
Yeah, on social
Or
media, I have the links. I'll give you my links. You can post it to your channel, to your viewers. They can just search for the Manikandan MS, and you get it on all those channels: Facebook, Insta, LinkedIn. I'm available.
awesome.
Yeah.
And thank you so much, Manikandan sir. Once again, I'm truly grateful for your presence in our podcast, and I look forward to talking to you even in greater length in our future episodes.
Yeah. Thank
Thank
you
you
all.
once again.
And
Thank you.
thank you. Bye.